What would a ring mean for the Boston Celtics? Let's get into it. The Boston Celtics are one of the most historic teams in sports history. So if you add another ring to their legacy, what changes? Well, first things first, they would have the most championships in NBA history. The Boston Celtics winning this championship would cement themselves as one of the great teams. It would also cement them as one of the best rebuilds of all time. And I personally believe a team like Boston winning would cement homegrown teams. It will fully eliminate the super team aspects of the game, changing the ways that GMs look at aspects of their teams from rebuilding to just how that they move on with their team. Because Boston, even though they have homegrown players, most of the team is from trades. But the aspects of them that aren't is their two-star players, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So what the Boston Celtics did is they stuck with their stars, developed them into their peak, and then they just surrounded them with the perfect complementary pieces. And with this year being the induction of the start of the new era, I believe that this is going to be how the era is going to play out from here on. Everyone's going to start trying to develop their two young players, their two young talent, or however they want to keep, and just try and go and get stars or complementary players or role players to try and keep building to their team till they eventually have the ability to win. Another thing that's going to change if the Boston Celtics win is how teams prioritize defense. I think these people seeing the model of how defense can be so effective on the high stage, especially playing up against a hyper offense in a team like the Mavericks where they have Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, some of the best scorers we've ever seen, it's really going to set a forefront for the future. Now let's get into more of the player aspect of what the effects would be if the Boston Celtics win the championship. The first thing I want to talk about is Jaylen Brown. If the Boston Celtics win the championship, Jaylen Brown and that contract is going to look genius to people. Because one, with the new contracts and TV deals, his contract's not going to actually be as much as the future contracts going forward. Not to mention, they brought him back and they have a ring now. The next player I want to talk about is Jason Tatum. If Jason Tatum's able to accomplish and win this championship, he's going to set himself in the perfect position in all-time rankings. Now, I know after saying that, someone in the comments is going to be like, yeah, this guy's a casual, but hear me out. Most players, like all-time greats, they haven't won until they're like in their exact peak. So their 28th season, they're around their 30s, they start to win and get championships. But Jason Tatum will be 26 years old when he wins his first championship, not to mention he still has this team going forward, so they have the capability to win more championships. Plus, he's on a great organization, and if they win, he's not leaving anytime soon. And he's already establishing himself as one of the best Boston Celtics of all time. So this ring means a lot to Jason Tatum. It also gets rid of the narrative that the team couldn't do it. They actually get it done. All it takes is time. Now to talk about both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, if they win this championship, they cement themselves as a duo, and also that these two can coexist to win a championship. Now to talk about other players like Jrue Holiday, if he were to get this second ring, it would just show his impact on teams because he did it in Milwaukee, now he's able to do it in Boston, and it's going to show the difference in that you do not have to be a primary scoring point guard to win. Now for players like Derek White, I think it'll really just implement the fact that how important role players are. Because for 2 years in a row, we're going to see someone who's a role player who's been really effective to the point where they're almost putting up all-star numbers with their versatility. Last year we saw it in Aaron Gordon, and this year we would see it in Derek White. Just how much defensive versatility and your small forward position being versatile in general has an impact on the team. Now the last player I want to talk about that I think this ring would have major impacts on is Kristaps Porzingis. If Kristaps wins the championship, I think that just puts the most perfect bow on his story in the NBA. Kristaps has been a player who's always had the talent, but on every single occasion, he just hasn't been able to get it done. He gets hurt every single time. He gets passed around by team to team, and it's always because of his shortcomings or what he's done. But then he finally gets it done in Boston, and it's because of his defensive prowess, because of his offensive prowess. I think it'll really change the narrative of Kristaps Porzingis, and it'll also give a little more validity to injury-prone players. Even though he wasn't healthy enough to even play in the playoffs, I think it'll show that if you have a perfect system around your team and perfect backups, you can still win a championship with having injury-prone players. And the last thing I want to talk about in this video for the effects of the Boston Celtics winning a championship will be how GMs decide to rebuild their teams. Not looking at this at the perspective from the Boston Celtics, but as the perspective of the Brooklyn Nets. How the Brooklyn Nets were just so eager to throw away their future, thinking that these would just be throwaway picks, and they turn out to be Jason Tatum, players of this S that could have helped them win a championship. But instead they traded it all for wash stars when you could have got these players to try and rebuild and work to get your own championship. But hey, those are the effects of what I think a ring would do to the league and what it would do for Boston. Let me know what y'all think would happen. Comment down below if you think these are true. NBA Sphinx out.